This is the brand new DW-6640RE, and let's tear it down. Alright, pause. Let's have a look at what we have so far in comparison to the original DW-6640, which I have over here. First, the strap still uses 16mm lug size, meaning they are compatible. Just a quick side note, notice that there's none of those easy release pin underneath this, so they really want us to still just use this kind of strap. And also, it is to represent the OG anyway, so there we go on the strap. The buckles, also the same size like any DW-6600, same goes with the watch band keeper, so I'm gonna put all this aside. Let's focus on the good part. The side screws for the watch bezel still exactly the same like the one you could use on the original DW-6600. Now the watch bezel, well, we kind of like already know the answer to this, but I'm still gonna test it out myself. There we go, it fits perfectly fine to the old DW-6600, meaning it still uses the same hard case. It's not just look the same, it still has the exact same measurement and dimension. Here is the back plate. There we go. In comparison to the original, let me remove this thing and you can see the gasket down there. If I were to place the thing on here, it will still fit perfectly fine. So you could just swap them up if you wanted to. Meaning this gasket down here, which is something that you really need to take care of and also service, or perhaps find a replacement parts in the future. Now you know you could just find it out of a DW-66 or any 6900 series G shop, which is there are thousands of them out there. So looking for parts and servicing will be very easy in the future. Now we're on the back cushioning. Here's something different. Here's the one on the DW-6600. Here's the movement, and here is on the brand new one. It is now totally different. The placement and all that, and I mean, just look at that. It is totally different. This one has a cut up for the battery, and if you look closely to both of this movement, it's just not the same entirely. Even though they could just recycle the movement, put it in here, and they're good to go. No one would notice, no one would care, but they did improve it. They make it new, so I appreciate that a lot. Now, let's pull this thing out. There we go, and compare it side to side like that. Well, as far as the color goes, of course they are the same, but look at how the LCD was locked. This one has screws on it to lock it in place. This one, no. So you have to remove it from the back. So you want to swap them up, I don't know, customize it or do whatever you want. You have to remove the entire thing, which is something I'm going to do afterwards. Now, I'm going to show you guys other thing. Here is the padding for this movement on the hard case. There we go. Plug this thing out of plastic. The original one, check this out, rubber gasket, which is much more shock absorbent, and metal, which is obviously far stronger than a piece of plastic like this. So the original one still kind of better in this regard. However, that doesn't mean this one are strong. It is just as strong. But the real concern is this is it. This is the faceplate. This old one didn't look as good, but is it replaceable? So let's try it out. Plug the old one in this new hard case. So far it fits perfect, and then let's put in the gasket. There we go. So far so good. And then we could plug in this metal frame. So far so good. And then plug the movement back inside, and so far so good as well, meaning it is entirely interchangeable and the button still fully working. So you could just swap the entire movement in and out from old hard case, just in case yours already broken or the glass got scratched or whatever. You could find the parts on the brand new release 6600, which I'm sure they're gonna be releasing a few more of these in the future. Other thing I need to try, of course, the new movement could be fit into this older hard case, and turns out, which is quite easy, you know, just add the plastic parts in and just add this new movement in. Bam, fits perfectly fine. Even the light button could still be operated, so everything still works just fine, which is very cool. Even though it is entirely have been redesigned, they still maintain the same dimension. That is nice touch though, by the way. Interesting. However, I don't think this will affect anything. These are just padding. You could swap them all you want and it was still compatible. Side. So now the movement, this should be obvious. They aren't exactly the same at all, but I'm just curious, so let's see. I just have to comment on this thing. Look at how clean this brand new circuit board is. Everything is just micro capacitors down there. Everything will reduce the size, I guess, effect. Oh my goodness, it is so clean. I love this a lot. You know, one other problem that this old movement always have is this thing right here. This one is what powering the EL backlighting, alright? This thing breaks all the time. And now since it is using LED backlighting, you won't be facing one of these issues anymore these days. So even though I'm missing all of this originality, but you gotta go with this brand new one. It is far better, far more reliable in my opinion. Nothing else going on here. There's not even any springs to connect to the EL panel and all that. This is so clean and easy to customize. So let's remove this LCD just like that. Alright, this is the LCD holder, and check this out. There we go. Alright, this is the LCD with this ribbon connector. This silverish background layer, believe it or not, you could just peel this off if you wanted to. Alright, and if you do so, this watch will have a transparent background and it will look like the upcoming Clear Remix model. Just a spoiler, by the way, you could do it yourself. Anyway, here's the backlighting logo, and if you don't like this, or if you want to swap it up to a G backlighting logo like one of the recently released DW-6600 in brown colorway, this is where you could do that. Although this is the 40th anniversary backlighting logo. If you don't like this logo, remove it and the watch will still work just fine. It just won't have any logo, or you could add your name or whatever in there. You're good to go. Here is a reflector, basically, you know, to reflect all the LED backlighting that glows on the side to the entire watch face, make it much more even. Here is I would say a diffuser to make sure that the light disperses correctly or evenly throughout the display, which is nice as well. This part also, you know, if you want to add speakers away, you could do that as well. It won't affect anything. Now, what's cool about this, notice that unlike previously released, I don't know, Master of G or any G-Shock watch that feature LED backlighting, they typically have two springs over here to connect to the LED bulb. In this case, we don't have that anymore. Alright, so less part to be worried about, less part to be missing, though it is connected to this thing down here. So there's that, but you won't have to worry about losing those parts, something that you have to consider if you are disassembling older model like those on the Master of G category. Now it's all gone. This movement is very simple. One last thing before I end the video, how about the LCD? Could we swap it between the new into the old one or the other way around? Let's find out